All right, let's just get right into it. Have you ever been there? You're completely hung up on someone who, well, who barely gives you the time of day. It's confusing, it's frustrating, and you know what? It is surprisingly common. Today, we're going to unpack the psychology behind this whole pattern and figure out exactly why we chase the people who pull away.
So yeah, this is the big question, right? It makes no logical sense, it feels totally counterintuitive, and yet so many of us have been there. The answer isn't about being weak or broken or something. Nope. It's this incredible mix of biology, your own personal history, and honestly, the stories we tell ourselves.
And here's the thing. It almost never starts out of nowhere. It starts with a real spark, right? A great conversation, a laugh you both share, that one text that just makes you grin. There's a genuine connection that creates a sense of hope, and more importantly, this expectation that it's actually going somewhere.
And then, poof, silence. Just when you're starting to feel good about it, the communication just dries up. The replies get shorter, or they just stop coming altogether. And that sudden shift from warmth to cold, it's so jarring. It's what sends our brains into a total tailspin.
And that's when the overthinking machine kicks on, right? Did I say something weird? Maybe they're just super busy. You find yourself scrolling back through old messages, dissecting every single word, trying to find that one moment where it all went wrong. And the crazy part is, the less they give you, the more space they take up in your head.
So what is actually going on here? Because that obsessive feeling, it's not some kind of character flaw. This is the first big piece of the puzzle. It's a totally predictable biological reaction happening inside your brain. It's all about some pretty powerful chemistry. Okay, so the key scientific term for this little brain hack is called intermittent reinforcement. All that means is you're getting a reward, in this case their attention or affection, but on a totally unpredictable schedule. See, it's not the reward itself that gets you hooked, it's the not knowing when you'll get it next. That's the addictive part. And you can see the difference so clearly here. When someone gives you consistent attention, it creates the stable, secure interest. It's nice, sure, but it's expected. But when that attention is unpredictable, that's what creates an addictive, obsessive craving. Your brain literally gets a bigger jolt of dopamine from the maybe than from a sure thing.
And this is the perfect way to think about it. A slot machine is the ultimate example of intermittent reinforcement, right? You have no idea which pull is going to hit the jackpot, so what do? You just keep pulling the lever, chasing that potential win. When a person is warm one day and cold the next, your brain is doing the exact same thing, just pulling that lever over and over, hoping for a payoff.
So here's the bottom line on the brain stuff. This whole chase, it's not just some emotional whim. It's a deep biological craving for closure. Your brain needs to solve the puzzle of their inconsistency. And it gets so wrapped up in this dopamine loop that the craving for an answer starts to feel exactly like craving love. Okay, so that's the brain chemistry. But, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. Our own personal histories play a massive role in this. The way we learned what connection even means when we were kids creates this kind of attachment code that shapes our adult relationships, usually in ways we don't even see. I mean, think about it. Our very first definition of what love and connection feel like, it was written way back in our childhood. The patterns of affection we got from our parents or caregivers, that became the blueprint for what we look for and what feels normal to us later in life.
And this is such a profound way to put it. If the affection you got as a kid was inconsistent, sometimes it was there, sometimes it wasn't, your nervous system may have literally learned that love equals waiting. That feeling of uncertainty, of longing, that familiar ache can actually feel like home.
And this often sets up what psychologists call the anxious avoidant dance. It's a classic pattern. One person, the anxious partner, feels a jolt of anxiety when they sense distance, so they lean in, they pull closer to try and fix it. The other person, the avoidant partner, feels pressured by this, and you guessed it, they pull back. And this creates this painful but weirdly magnetic cycle where both people end up mistaking that intense anxiety of the chase for some kind of deep, powerful attraction.
So we've got the addictive brain chemistry, we've got the childhood programming, but there's a third piece to this whole thing, and this one is happening inside our own heads. This is what we can call the fantasy trap, where we stop dealing with a real, actual person and start falling for a story we made up.
It's like this. When someone gives you nothing, when they're a blank slate, our minds just hate a vacuum. So we start filling in the blanks ourselves. We invent these elaborate reasons for why they're distant.
We create these complex inner lives for them, and we basically project all our hopes and dreams onto them. Their silence becomes the perfect canvas for our imagination.
And the more you daydream and fantasize, the more invested you become. But what are you really investing in? It's not the actual person who, let's be honest, you might barely know. You're building a powerful emotional attachment to the story you've written, to the potential you see in them, to your idea of who they could be, if only they'd pay attention.
Yeah, take a look at this, because it just makes it so crystal clear. The reality is, they're just a person with all their own flaws, their own baggage, their own limitations. But the story? Oh, the story is this perfect, idealized fantasy, just filled with what-ifs. And too often, we end up chasing the story, not the person.
And this right here, this is the big reveal, the key takeaway. When you're obsessing over someone's potential or what their silence really means, you're not in a relationship with them. You're in a relationship with a story that you are writing, directing, and starring in, all inside your own mind. And realizing that is the absolute first step to getting free.
Okay, so we have totally unpacked the why, the biology, the childhood stuff, the storytelling. Now for the most important part, the how. How do you actually break this cycle? Well, it's not about trying harder to win them over or being better. It's about shifting your entire focus inward and taking back your own power.
So here's a really clear, actionable game plan. Step 1, just notice it. Catch yourself in the act, mid-fantasy. Step 2, ask yourself, okay, what am I really craving right now? Is it really them, or is it the feeling of being chosen, of being wanted? And then step 3, consciously take your energy and invest it in people who invest back in you. Find those connections that are reciprocal, where the street runs both ways.
And that's the real game changer. The solution isn't to finally get them to notice you. The real work is learning how to give yourself that feeling of validation, that feeling of being chosen. Because when you choose yourself first and foremost, you stop needing that validation from people who are on the fence about you. And let's wrap this up with a big dose of self-compassion. Getting caught in this pattern doesn't mean you're broken or there's something wrong with you. It just means you're human. We are all profoundly wired for connection, and sometimes our wires just get a little tangled trying to find it. This is a deeply, deeply human experience. So, I want to leave you with this one final thought. The next time you feel yourself starting to get pulled into that chase, just pause for a second and ask yourself this question. Are you really chasing them, or are you chasing a deeper understanding of yourself, your needs, your history, your patterns? Because honestly, that's a chase that is always, always worth the effort.